Wembley Stadium, the setting for this weekend's EFL Cup final between Claude Puel's Southampton and Jose Mourinho's Manchester United.
Cup competitions, unfortunately, are much maligned. Yet, you know, when you put your slippers on and you look back, they're the great days. Yes, of course, winning the league is the ultimate, but a cup competition that finishes with one game that you share with the supporters is always something which, you know, for all the ones you play in, the cup finals are the ones, you know. So cup finals are a great occasion. And of course, with Man U, then, you know, they get 80,000 every week. So when a cup final comes around, they could fill it 25 times over because everybody wants to see Man U in a cup final.
Does that help them that they get 70,000 every week? You know, when Southampton walk out?
Well, look, it's a cup final, and you always say, you know, you always need that bounce of the ball. Is it your day, that rub of the green? But the more experienced you are, then I do think it does help, of course. You know, if you're experienced of handling a cup final and handling the situation, then of course it gives you a little bit of an advantage.
Well, it means everything. I actually signed for Southampton the season after they got to the FA Cup final, and they were still talking about it when I signed. So it means everything. You know, it's a wonderful place to live, a wonderful football club, and for them to be in a major cup final against a massive club in Manchester United, they'll be extremely delighted with it, but they'll want their form, you know, good going into the game. It's been a bit mixed this season, but when they get it right, you know, they're a tough team to play.
Southampton had already beaten Arsenal when they faced Liverpool in the semi-finals at Anfield. It was Shane Long that got an injury minute winner to secure a final against Manchester United. But could they beat them here like they did?
1976, I think it was, when they beat Bobby Stokes. I remember it as if it was yesterday, when they beat Man U in that cup final. Look, it's a cup final. Anything can happen. You know, we've seen often, haven't we, where, you know, I've been before with Man U, lost to the Villa and lost to Sheffield Wednesday. So, you know, they've got a chance. It's a one-off cup final. Who takes the chances on the day? Who's that bounce of the ball, that little bit of luck? Who can get it?
It was a wonderful achievement. You know, Southampton haven't been in many cup finals, you know, in their history. So to reach an FA Cup final with a club, you know, that isn't recognised as being one of the top, you know, Premier League clubs, although it's a great football club. And in their eyes, they see it as a huge club, but, you know, the outside world, it's not seen as that. So it's certainly changed over the years with the players that they've brought through. So, you know, it's a wonderful achievement. The route that they've come through, the teams that they've beat, is a great achievement. And they've every chance of winning it as well for me. They get it right on the days. They've showed this season at times they can be a real good team.
What makes it work with Southampton? Because for a few years now, you know, whether it be Pochettino there, they haven't had what you would say as like landmark personnel, have they? I mean, the players that they've got, they're not household names, are they, particularly?
No, and I think that's helped them because they've all brought into what they're trying to do down there. Yes, they're well known for producing some wonderful players over the years, and it was like that from even when I was a schoolboy there, when I was 14, 15, 16. They still brought through some great players. Alan Shearer came through down there. So they've got a history of doing it. Their academy, the way they bring players in is phenomenal. And the way they've sustained their Premier League status over the years with the players that they've sold is quite remarkable, really. But they can attract quality players. You know, they've just signed the out of contract player Caceres with quality. You know, his background, the teams he's played for. If they're able to sign these sort of players, Gabbiadini looks a wonderful signing. So there's something about the club. It's a great place to live as well. Players love living down there. The temperature, the climate's a lot different to up here in the north. So, you know, it's just a real good football club, and the facilities now is second to none.
They've done really well. They've lost player after player over the last 2, 3, 4 years, and seem to have, they've recruited very well. I have to say Les Reed has done a smashing job in that area. You know, they've lost big players. They'll probably lose 2 or 3 big players again this summer. So it's good to see a club like Southampton, who've been really, really well run and well organised over the last couple of years, actually get to a cup final. And if it wasn't Man U, then I would be cheering them on, but my allegiance is still to the red part.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic sank Southampton with 2 goals at Old Trafford back in August. But can he and Manchester United repeat that feat under the iconic Wembley arch?
For 34, 35, he is quite remarkable. can you imagine what he was like at 25? I mean, look, the great thing about him is, and what makes a top player, he's still got a hunger, a desire to be the best player. And you can see by as soon as you look at him, he's got that arrogance, that way. He's got it. He's got that. You look. I just have to look at him. He reminds me so much of a Cantona. It's scary the similarities of the two of them. They're both great players, big personalities, larger than life, and of course are born winners. You know, and that's what makes a top player.
You almost expect him to put the collar up, don't you? I mean, he has got that Cantona thing going on.
He's got the Cantona thing, but there's only one person who can put the collar up because he's done it. So I don't think Zlatan would want to try and copy him. He has his own way about him where he doesn't have to, because everywhere he's gone, he's won cups and leagues. Every team he's played for, and you can see he's a bit of a talisman for everybody. And when you see the number of games he plays, there's no talk about rest. At 34, 35, wherever he is, he's in terrific shape.
You know, no matter what people say about them, they're a force to be reckoned with. And you know, when you've got a player like Ibrahimovic who's scoring goals for fun at his age, and you know the hours of football that he's been playing is quite incredible. But you know, no matter what team Jose Mourinho manages, he tends to eventually get the best out of them. Perhaps they're not firing on all cylinders at the moment, but they are a force to be reckoned with. I think they're too far away from winning the Premier League, but certainly next season they'll be there or thereabouts with some more additions over the summer. But they're beatable. You know, they've shown that this season. They're not, unbeatable. Teams have come up against them this year, and generally teams that have a go at them get a good result. So I'm sure Southampton, will their game plan will be, yes, we can beat them, but we have to be very careful because they have got quality players on a big pitch at Wembley. It could be very tough, but as Southampton have shown, they can beat anyone on their day.
Ibrahimovic, I mean, you played way into your 30s. How good is it at that age to be doing the nimble stuff? Because it's not just scoring goals; he's scoring.
Yeah. I think it becomes more satisfying as you get older, because what you're doing, you're proving to yourself that you can still do it, but also you're kind of, you're showing other youngsters around that this is what you can achieve if you look after yourself, you do things right, and becoming even more of a role model. He's been a role model anyway, but to be doing it at the age he's doing it, and I can speak from first hand. It gives you that inner feeling, a real good feeling about yourself that. Because as soon what the English media is like, or the media around the world, as soon as you pass 30, that's it, you've had it. But nowadays, players are playing well into their 30s, and I believe it will become more and more for players as we move forward, because of the sports science, the way players look after themselves now is quite incredible. So it won't surprise me if we see a lot more players playing late onto their 30s. They don't have to, because financially nowadays they don't need to, but that just shows how the drive and the desire that Ibrahimovic has still got.
Cup finals to start with, I always say that a great cup final is always somebody who scores a goal first early, because then it blows everything out of the water. But usually in a cup final everybody's a bit tentative. Everybody doesn't want to make a mistake, so you find that you don't play with that freedom. So they're always cagey affairs. Then again, that's that. Who gets the first goal is huge in a cup final.
Wembley, you take the Southampton players, take the Man United players. What did it do to you as you're walking down the tunnel? Who will it affect? Good question. Naturally, and obviously, it would have more effect on the Southampton players, purely because the United players, they play at Old Trafford every other week in front of 70,000. I know Wembley's got 20 more thousand than that, but they're playing in the theatre of dreams. They're used to big games. But Southampton, that might go in their favour. They've got nothing to lose. They'll be the underdogs on the day. As long as they keep it tight and they stick to their game plan, even if something was to go wrong in the first 15, 20, they'll have a chance to win the game. So Mourinho will know that. He'll respect Southampton. He'll give them the biggest of respect, I'm sure of that. But yeah, you would have to say nerves will play a bit of it, and it maybe affect the Southampton players a bit more than the United players. So it'd be interesting to see how the game starts for me for the first 10, 15 minutes. What are you predicting then? The Mourinho bus, or go out and attack? Because he can do either. Yeah, of course. I think
as I say, the first 10-15 minutes will be interesting for me, how the two teams set up, certainly Southampton, how they approach it. Do they press from the word go? Do they sit back, invite United on, which can be dangerous, but it also can be dangerous pressing because of the players they've got can play around them. So I think they've got to get that happy medium, get that balance right. And if they do that and they can keep it, tight going in, late on in the game, Southampton have got some good players. And in the lad in Gabbiadini, saw at Sunderland last week, he knows where the back of the net is, got lots of energy. So I think they'll give them a good run for their money. And it wouldn't surprise me if Southampton, ran out. I wouldn't say comfortable winners, but they won the game. It'd be very, very difficult for them.
Go on then. I'm going to ask you to put your money on it. Who are you going with? What's the score?
Oh, score. I don't know what the score will be, but I've got to say I think Man U will edge it.
Go on, who's your money on? If you've got to do it,
Yeah, I think naturally you would go with United, but I just think I love to see an underdog win a game of football, and I could see it going to extra time, and maybe someone winning it in that. So I'm probably going to have to say United may just edge it, but in extra time. So I think Southampton will run them all the way. They've certainly got goals in them, so it'll be a goal-scoring draw going into extra time. And then I think with the quality United perhaps have got coming off the bench, they may nick it in extra time. So it'll be a great game, I'm sure of that. And but I think Man United may just edge it with the form they're in at the moment.
So it's the Saints versus the Red Devils in this season's first showpiece final. But where is your money going? Remember, check out all the latest odds on betsafe.com, and you've got to be in it to win it.